Namaste, Wild Heart Yogis. Welcome to the first ever Yin Yoga class on the Yoga by Ashley platform. Today's class is going to be focused on spinal movement. And there are 6 degrees of freedom within the spine. There is flexion, which is anything that's like forward folding, rounding through the spine. There's extension, which is anything that's like a heart opener, a back bend, finding length here. There is lateral flexion, so leaning to the left, finding the length in the right side, leaning to the left or right, finding length in the left side. And then there's also twisting, so twisting to the left, twisting to the right. So those are the 6 degrees of movement within the spine. So hopefully by the end of your practice today, you will feel a little bit more lengthened out, a little bit more mobile, able to move around. And Yin Yoga is a great practice to do within like the first hour of waking up in the morning. So as we sleep, our fascia, our connective tissues start to harden, right? Our fascia is like this like saran wrap layer that encases all of the muscles, the bones, the tissues in our body. So as we sleep, this like thin layer of saran wrap that encases us underneath our skin starts to harden. It's like a web, right? And the webbing starts to become thicker and thicker and harder. So when we wake up, like our first good morning stretch, our first big stretch feels so good because it starts to like pull apart all that hardening, that interweaving of the web that happened as we slept overnight. So it's really good to do yin like within an hour of waking up. You want to give your body a little bit to just start to move and then get into these deeper stretches. Or you can do it at night. You can do it at any point in your day, maybe after like a really tough workout, just getting deep into that connective tissue and starting to move some stuff around in the body, right? So yeah, excited to have you guys joining me here on your mat today. Let's just get started in a comfortable seat on our mat. So whatever that looks like. So cross-legged, half lotus, full lotus. Find a tall spine. Start to settle in. Close the eyes down. Take a deep breath in through the nose, filling up the belly, the ribs, holding the breath at the third eye center. Big clearing sigh out through the mouth. Let it go. Relax the shoulders away from the ears. 2 more times, just like that. Big belly breath in. Expand the ribs. Hold the breath at the third eye. Big clearing sigh out. Good. Last time, big breath in. Big breath out. Good. Just opening up the class with 3 ohms, setting the space, grounding us, connecting us to each other. Take a deep breath in. Take a deep breath in, deep breath out. Gently blinking the eyes open. If you have your playlist ready, you can go ahead and hit play. It's the Yin playlist on the Yoga by Ashley Spotify. I always have the music in my ears so that I can keep pace with wherever you guys are in the playlist. All right, let's just start by circling out the neck here in one direction. So dropping the chin to the chest, dropping the ear to one shoulder, head all the way back. I'm just making a few circles here. And then switching directions, getting into all the corners of the neck. It's a few circles. Starting to release any of that hardening, that fascia in the neck. Come back through center, find a tall spine. Roll the shoulders up to the ears and down the back a few times. And then switching directions, roll the shoulders forward. Beautiful, yogis. Reach the arms up overhead. Find a full body stretch. Drop the head back in space. Big breath in. Interlace the hands and lift the palms of the hands up to the sky. Find length from the side bodies. Deep breath here. Exhale. Good. Release the hands. Catch the right wrist. Lean over to the left side of your space. Gaze goes up. Past the right fingertips. Find the length on the right side of the body. Think about grounding the right sit bones. Inhale, come back through center. Just switch it out. Catch the left wrist. Lean over to the right side of the space. Just warming up the body before we start to get into some of these deeper holds. Big breath here. Exhale, release the hands. Catch the right ear with the left hand and then elongate the right fingertips down to the mat. Find length between the right ear and the right shoulder. So really reaching through those right fingertips, opening up the right side of the neck. Deep breath here. Exhale, slightly tuck the chin to the chest. Just change the stretch ever so slightly. This could be a big change for some of you guys. I know for me, it's a deeper stretch for sure. Deep breath here. Exhale, release the left fingertips, sweep the right arm up and over, catch the left ear. Just find a gentle pull on the left ear, finding the space between the left ear and the left shoulder, elongating those left fingertips down to the mat. Big breath here. Exhale, slightly tuck the chin to the chest, change the stretch ever so slightly. Breathing here, inhale. Exhale. Good. Inhale, come back through center. And then just crawl the hands out in front of you. Make your way into your tabletop position. Shoulders over wrists, hips over knees. We're just going to move through a couple rounds of cat-cows. So on the inhale, drop the belly, gaze comes up, find space. Exhale, round through the spine, gazes at the belly, press the floor away from you. Just starting to wake up the spine. Inhale, drop the belly, gaze comes up, look up. Exhale, round and hollow, gazes at the belly. Last time, inhale, arch. Exhale, round it out. Now just begin to invite in some organic movement. So just taking a little inventory of the body here, noticing where you're feeling any tension or any tightness, and just working into those areas. So like for example, my hips are tight today, so I'm just finding these big circles into the hips. Your spine could be tight, so you gaze over one shoulder maybe, gaze over the other. Maybe find some barrel rolls with the torso, just waking everything up. Good. And then just make your way back to your neutral tabletop. Tuck the toes under, send the hips up and back, coming into your first and only down dog of the practice today. So pedaling out through the legs, taking a deep bend in one knee, deep bend in the other knee. Shake the head out, yes. Shake the head out, no. Come high on the balls of the feet. And then re-drop the heels down to the mat. Just settle in here for another breath. Exhale. Good, come high on the balls of the feet, gaze forward. And just start to walk the feet forward behind the wrists. Coming into our first pose of the series, so ragdoll pose, or if you practice yin, and yin they call this dangle pose. I'm going to cue both the names of the poses today, just because most of us practice vinyasa, and this practice translates well across both fields. So grabbing opposite elbows, letting the head hang heavy. We're going to be in this forward fold for 2 minutes. So just let the head hang heavy, maybe grabbing opposite elbows, swaying side to side, keeping a soft bend in the knees, and releasing the lower back. So this is a good release for the sacral spine, the lumbar spine, the cervical column in the neck. Yeah, so just letting everything go. Good, just swaying. Breathing here. Just imagining like a little drip of water dripping onto your sacrum, rolling all the way up your spine, all the way to the crown of the head, then dripping down into the earth below your head. So now imagine that this little drip of water is just any tension or anxiety just completely rolling off of you, melting away from you, and being absorbed by the earth. Just a couple more minutes here. Just swaying side to side. Feeling the release in the back of the legs. If you want a little bit of a deeper stretch, you can interlace the arms behind the calves and then send the sit bones even higher if you're really open. If not, just stay dangling. Good. I have my timer on my watch, so if you see me looking at my watch, I'm looking at the time for you guys. Okay. Good. And then just start to deepen your breathing. Release the arms down to the mat. Inhale, lift up halfway, flat spine. Bring the hands to the shins and just find a long spine from the tailbone through the crown of the head. Exhale, fold, plant the hands, pull the chest down to meet the thighs. 2 more times, inhale, flat back, long spine. Exhale, fold it down, bow. This time, inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Engage the belly, slowly begin to roll up, stacking 1 vertebrae at a time. The head is the last to rise. When you reach the top, sweep the arms up overhead. Find a full body stretch, reach up, open up. Good, and then exhale, bring the hands to prayer at heart center. Toe heel the feet out to the edges of your mat. Heels in, toes out. And then just sit the seat down between the heels. Come into your Malasana Yogi Squat pose, pressing the inner thighs open with the triceps, finding length all the way from the tailbone through the crown of the head. Yeah, so think about pressing the thighs open, hands to prayer at heart center. Good, so that you get a deeper opening, using your hands as leverage, and then rolling onto the pinky side edge of the feet. Close the eyes here, just sway side to side. I'm going to be here for about 2 minutes. Just swaying side to side. This is still an extension in the spine. So rounding through the spine, right? You're rounding through the spine, lengthening the tailbone down to the mat. Good. Decompressing the lumbar spine. The wider the feet are, the more of an external rotation that you might feel in the hip socket. Just breathing here. Just trying to be present and aware in the posture. Just feeling the release. Breathing through the pose. Relaxing the shoulders away from the ears, softening the jaw, just settling in. Starting to find some stillness. Just another 45 seconds here. Couple more deep breaths. If your heels are up off the mat, like that's totally fine, right? If you can't drop your heels all the way down to the mat, it's still a big opening. Unless it's painful, then back off a little bit. 5 more seconds. And just to come out of this, release the hands down to the mat. Slowly and mindfully start to send the sit bones up to the sky, straightening out the legs. Bring the feet behind the wrists, feet hip-width distance apart, and just pedal out through the legs here a little bit. So bending into one knee, bending into the other knee, releasing the head of the neck, swaying a little bit side to side. Just bringing some blood back to the legs. Then inhale, lift up halfway, and just come down to your seat. And setting it up for Baddha Konasana, or butterfly pose. So soles of the feet together, knees go out wide. If you have knee issues, if your hips are tight, you can bring the feet further away from you. If you're really open, you can bring the feet in closer to you. Inhale, sit up nice and tall, find length through the spine. And then exhale, start to round through the spine. So normally in our vinyasa practice, you try to find a long spine and pull the chest down to the feet. That's not the goal here today. The goal here is to soften and release into the pose. So just round through the spine, release the head and the neck, and rest the forearms down to the mat. You can crawl the arms out long in front of you if you want to, or you can rest them on the mat. You can even grab a block and rest it underneath the forehead if you have a block today. And just breathe. Good. We're going to be here for about 3 minutes. So just settling into the pose, feeling the opening in the hips, finding something more to release and soften, right? So releasing the jaw, releasing the brow. If this is too intense for you, you can bring pillows underneath the thighs. Let me grab my pillow for a demo for you guys. So you can place a pillow under this thigh, place a pillow underneath the other thigh. You can pause the video and go grab some pillows if you need them. And just rest the head and the neck. Just surrender. Or you can prop yourself up onto a pillow if you need more leverage in the hips, and then fold over the legs. I'm gonna be here for about 2 more minutes, so just find your seat and settle in. Breathe. Noticing if the body starts to soften and release a little bit deeper into the pose. This is a flexion of the lower back, so we're rounding through the lower back. Surrendering into the pose. Noticing what more you can let go of. So our hips tend to store a lot of tension, store a lot of anxiety, old emotions, old experiences. So by releasing and opening up the hips, starting to let go of that old baggage, that old anxiety, and create space to receive new experiences. Create space to receive positive experiences. Changing the story. Changing to a more positive script. Start to deepen the breath. Slowly start to walk the hands back up. Come back to sitting up. Plant the hands behind you and just start to puff up the chest. Find that flexion in the lower back. So opening up the heart. Your counter stretch for the pose. Come back to center. If you're sitting on something, remove it. Just plant the feet to the mat. And then just drop the knees to one side. Windshield wipering the legs side to side, releasing that lower back. Plant the feet on the mat, fingers pointed towards the heels. Just taking a reverse tabletop for 3 breaths, opening up the front of the body, drop the head back here for 3, for 2, and 1, coming all the way back down to your seat. Janu Shirsasana. So draw the right foot in, extend the left leg long out in front of you. Sit up nice and tall. You might want to sit on your pillow again just to get a little bit more leverage. Square the shoulders over the left leg, sit up nice and tall. Exhale, fold. Try to reach the feet with the hands. If your hands easily reach the left foot, you can place a block on the bottom of the foot and reach around the block. If you're having a hard time reaching the foot, you can drape a strap around the bottom of the foot and then pull the chest forward. Or you just catch the foot, release, and soften. So you're going to be here for about a minute and a half, and then we'll change the stretch just a little bit. So finding your edge in this pose. So you're not like pulling yourself into the pose. Yin is a very passive practice. So you're just passively surrendering and allowing the body to just melt over the left leg. Letting the head hang heavy. Maybe resting your head on a block or a pillow if it doesn't easily reach the leg. Breathing here. Either staying here or changing the stretch ever so slightly, bringing the left forearm to the inside of the left calf, and then sweeping the right arm all the way up and over, trying to catch the left toes with the right fingertips, and then twisting the gaze underneath that right armpit. If you don't catch the toe, it's totally fine. Like the arm can just dangle across the right ear, and you'll still feel that nice big opening in the right side of the body. Thinking about grounding the right sit bones down to the mat. Just gonna be here for about 45 more seconds. Releasing the left ear to the left shoulder. Next inhale, start to slowly sit back up. Just taking a simple twist over the right thigh. Left hand to the outside of the right thigh, gazes over the right shoulder. Find length in the spine. Coming back through center, just switch it out. Draw the left foot in, send the right leg long. It can be out at an angle slightly if that's more comfortable for you. Yin is about like finding your edge, right? And finding what is the most comfortable pose for your body. So honoring your body today and taking this pose, this posture to wherever it needs to go, whatever that looks like for you. Sit up nice and tall, square the shoulders over the right leg, and then just bow over the right leg. 2 minutes here. Find your edge. And then just settle in. Just breathing. Deep breath in. Exhale. Breathing. Make sure you haven't lost your breath. You're not holding your breath. About another 30 seconds here. So Bernie Clark says that yin is the other half. Most forms of yoga are dynamic and active practices designed to work only half of our body. The muscular half, the yang tissues. Yin Yoga allows us to work the other half, the deeper yin tissues of our ligaments, joints, deep fascial networks, and even our bones. All of our tissues are important and need to be exercised so that we can achieve optimum health and vitality. Slowly start to sit back up. Take a simple twist over the left thigh, right hand to the outside of the thigh, gazes over the left shoulder. We didn't do the side body stretch, no worries. Coming back, right arm to the inside of the right leg. Reach the left fingertips up and over. Stretch through that left side of the body. Drop the right ear to the right shoulder. Maybe modifying if you need to. Maybe this side looks different than the other. Just another 15 seconds here. Now start to sit back up. Find that twist one more time. Gazes over the left shoulder and tall spine. Inhale. Exhale, come back through center. Send the left leg out long for straddle pose. So you might be sitting on a block or a pillow still. If that serves you today, then keep that in your practice. If not, legs go wide. You can come off of the pillow. You can put pillows underneath the knees. If this is too much extension for you, place pillows or blocks underneath the knees just for extra support. Find a tall spine. And then exhale, just crawl the hands out in front of you. Relax the head down to the mat. Just settle into the straddle pose. We're going to be here for 3 minutes. So finding your edge and then taking it a little bit deeper. Okay. Just softening into the posture. Seeing where you can go deeper. Where you can surrender just a little bit more. Try to keep the toes flipped up to the sky. If you have a bolster and you'd like to rest your upper body on a bolster, you can bring the bolster in nice and close and then just crawl the hands out and surrender over the pillow, the bolster, whatever you have. If you want to rest your head on a block or a pillow, that's another amazing option here. Or you just crawl the hands out in front of you if you're really open. And just allow gravity to do the work here. To allow the body to soften and settle into the pose. Starting to let go of anything in your life, in your daily routine that doesn't serve you, that doesn't honor you, that doesn't make you a better person. Start to let that go and release down into the mat, into the earth. Just knowing that you are worthy of happiness, that you are worthy of love, that you're worthy of abundance. Trust that the universe has your back, right? The universe only wants what's best for you. So just trust that it will catch you during the tough times, during the struggles. 2 more breaths here. Last big breath. Inhale slowly, start to sit back up. Walk the hands back. Place the hands behind you, fingertips pointed towards the seat. Lean back, puff the heart up, drop the head back, roll the shoulders down the back. Find this back bend, this flexion in the spine. Come back through center, take a simple twist over the right leg, left hand to the outside of the right leg. find length. Come back through center, simple twist in the opposite direction, find length. Exhale. Come back through center, grab behind the thighs and just slowly start to pull the knees in. Plant the hands on the mat, find your windshield wipers again. And the last forward folding posture that we have today, legs go long out in front of you for your caterpillar pose, or in Vinyasa Ashtanga, Paschimottanasana, seated forward fold. If you want and you have a pillow or a bolster, you can place it long alongside the tops of the legs and just rest the belly on the thighs or the legs or the bolster. If you can't reach your toes today, again, you can use a strap or a shirt around the arches of the feet and then pull the chest through and then round through the spine. Again, the goal here is to find the passive version of this posture. So you're not pulling and continuing to find length. You're going to sit up nice and tall and then just start to allow the upper body to round down to meet the thighs, relaxing the head and the neck, relaxing the arms alongside the legs, maybe resting the forehead on a pillow or a block if it's too much tension on the neck. Just breathe here. 3 minutes here. So again, finding your edge, staying there for a little bit, and then maybe softening just a little bit deeper. Maybe sitting up on that pillow to get the tilt forward of the hips again here, if you need that. Just listening to your body, honoring your body, noticing what you need today. Maybe this practice looks different than it did yesterday or the day before, and that's okay. Maybe you're feeling tight today. Maybe you did a challenging workout, running, and you just need some deeper stretching today, and that's okay. Drawing the chin to the chest to find more length in the spine. Relaxing the shoulders away from the ears. Another 45 seconds here, maybe going a little bit deeper. If you have a prop that you're resting on, your head, your chest, maybe you remove it. Maybe your muscles have started to open up and release, and you can get a little bit deeper. Maybe the fascia, the connective tissue is starting to soften. Just begin to deepen your breathing. Slowly, mindfully rolling up through the spine. The head is the last to rise. Place the hands behind you, open up through the chest. Maybe coming into a reverse plank, pressing the hips up to the sky, pointing the toes, drop the head back, find length here. For 3, 2, 1, lowering the seat back down to the mat. Crossing the ankles, making your way forward onto your belly. Setting up for a Sphinx pose. So moving into our extension part of the practice, or our back bending portion of the practice. Elbows are directly underneath the shoulders, hands directly up from the elbows. You're going to grip the mat with your fingertips and then start to pull the chest through the shoulders. Shoulders are away from the ears. If this is too much for you, you can walk the elbows out a little bit further away from you, so more of your torso is on the back. So it's not as extreme as the back bend on the lower back, and then pull the heart through. If you're here for a few breaths and you feel like you can get deeper, you can slide the forearms back in space, pull the heart through, and find more of that back bend. Staying here in your Sphinx pose for about 2 minutes. Just pulling the heart forward, breathing here, staying with the chin parallel for this first minute. Feet are hip width distance apart, relaxing the muscles in the glutes. Just breathing here. More seconds. And for this last minute of the pose, drop the chin to the chest and start to bring the right ear to the right shoulder. Come back through center, bring the left ear to the left shoulder. Just mindfully finding this movement in the neck, opening up the sides of the neck. We're going to be here for about a minute. So just take your time, inviting in that movement. Breathing. Just about 10 more seconds here. Good, and then lower the chest down. Place the hands out off of your mat, like a little bit wider, underneath the shoulders. You're just going to press up into Bhujangasana, Cobra pose. So it's like a full expression of the pose. Seal pose is what we call it in Yin. You can drop the head back in space if that feels good. If it doesn't feel good on your neck, keep your chin parallel. Relax the shoulders away from the ears. You're here for 60 seconds. Just find length. If this is too much for you, you can stay in your Sphinx pose. Or you can always come out of the pose altogether and just rest down to the mat if it's too much. Ten more seconds. Good. And then just slowly, mindfully lower the chest down to the mat. Draw the right knee in line with the right hip. Thread the left arm underneath the right shoulder and just peel the heart open to the sky. So find this little twist here. Gazes over the right shoulder. So you're twisting from the upper body here. Good. Straightening out the spine. Maybe reach down and catch the outside edge of the right foot with the left hand. You can extend the right leg out towards the right side of the room. If you're really open, you can bend that left knee and catch the inside arch of the left foot with the right hand. So double binding this twist. Just settling in here. We're going to be here for about a minute. Taking it a little bit deeper as you start to settle in. Just readjusting. Trying to bring the gaze over that right shoulder. Two more deep breaths. Last deep breath. Slowly start to roll all the way back onto your belly. Come back through center. Just neutralize the spine. Come back to your Sphinx pose just for a breath. Good. Lay the chest down. Draw the left knee in alongside the left hip. Thread the right arm underneath the left shoulder. Lay the right ear and the right shoulder to the mat. Peel the left arm open towards the left side of your space. Adjust. Settle in. Maybe the right hand comes to the top of the left thigh. Bring the gaze over that left shoulder. Maybe as you start to settle in, you start to take this pose a little bit deeper. Catching the outside edge of the left foot with the right hand, kicking it out towards the right side of your space. Maybe you stay here, or as you start to settle in and the muscles start to soften, you can go deeper and catch the inside arch of the right foot with the left hand. Finding your twist. Gaze is over that left shoulder. Settling in here. I'm going to be here for about a minute. Maybe going a little bit deeper, readjusting as the pose starts to settle in and the tissues start to release in the body. Start to deepen your breath and slowly roll over onto your back. Signing up for our final pose of class, we're going to take banana pose. So they call it banana asana in Yin Yoga. I don't think there's a name for it in Ashtanga. So reach the arms up overhead. First, let's find a full body stretch. Reach the fingertips up, point the toes, find length, inhale. Exhale, bend the right elbow, catch the right elbow with the left hand. So you're coming to like this, grabbing opposite elbows over the head. Keep the hips nice and grounded and start to shuffle the upper body off to the left side of your mat. So find your depth here. And then start to walk the legs off to the left side of your mat. So finding the length all the way through the right side of the body, keeping the hips nice and grounded. Just breathe here. You're here for 2 minutes. So the right side of the body is representative of the masculine energy, right? And the masculine energy, when we think of the masculine, we think of like this like go, go, go mentality. We think of like the checklist. Like we have to continue to grow and develop further and further in our lives. Like there's always a goal, right? We're told from a young age that we have to like check all the boxes in life, right? We have to graduate high school, get into a 4-year college, graduate college, get that killer job, find the wife or the husband, get married, have 4.5 kids, buy the house with a white picket fence. So we're like sold this narrative of the masculine energy, the checklist. So I like to think of the masculine as like a paint by numbers, right? You're just like going through the motions. It already tells you like what colors go where. So like 1 is blue, 2 is red. You're just filling in the boxes, checking the list. And you're forgetting to invite in like what you truly want out of life, right? What you're passionate about. Deepen the breathing. Exhale. Slowly come back through center. Grab the opposite elbow, so left elbow with the right hand. And then slowly start to walk the upper body off to the right side of your mat. Find your edge. And then slowly start to walk the legs off to the right side of the mat. Find the length on the left side of the body. As you start to settle in the pose, maybe take it a little bit deeper. So the left side of the body is synonymous with the feminine energy. And the feminine energy is this energy that's more in line with like compassion, love, intuition, this motherly energy. So just because you are male or female doesn't mean that like you're more of one than the other. Like we all have to have a balance, right? But because our society is so goal oriented, we forget to invite in the feminine. We're just going through the motions. And we forget to invite in our intuition, like that love, what we really want out of life. So I like to think of the feminine as like a paint by, or a watercolor painting, right? It's more intuitive. You're looking at the canvas and you just feel it, right? You know that like this area needs more purple, this area needs more brightness. So you just add the colors as like your intuition guides you, right? So we forget to invite that energy, that side of us into our lives. And we forget to invite in like what really resonates with us, to follow our dreams. Take a deep breath in here. Exhale. Good. So finding that balance is so important. Coming back through center. Hug both knees into the chest. Make yourself into a teeny tiny ball. Hug the knees in. Bring the forehead up to meet the knees. Scrunch up the toes, the fingers, the face. Biggest breath yet. Fill up. And then exhale, just release everything down to the mat, coming into your final resting pose. Shavasana. Take up space here on your mat. Close the eyes. Keep the thoughts away just a little bit longer. And just allow that feminine energy, that loving energy to stay present in the body, right? Just keeping that self-care, self-awareness, that self-love present in the body, in the mind. When you leave your mat today, not just returning to that checklist, to your to-do list, but like really paying attention to what you really want out of life, right? What you need. So listening to your intuition. I'll leave you guys here, yogis. Make sure you spend about 5 minutes in Shavasana, just letting this practice marinate in the body. Good. so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed your practice and you feel amazing. Namaste, yogis.